Oh, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. Damn. It's time for a fucking hurricane. And I don't even care. I'm gonna eat some cold cheese with some tomatoes, and that's all it takes. You don't need to add nothing else to that shit, bitch. Cause if I stop the give shit, you're gonna get fucking whipped. One thing I've realized in this absolutely great, miserable world, life, it's better to be alone. Better off being alone. It's a hurricane. What a fucking winter. 2024, halfway into it. It's almost Christmas again.
PBS NewsHour, and with reporting from across the state of New Hampshire, I'm Judy Woodruff in Washington.
Still trying to gain weight here. Lots. Trying to put the pounds on. I gotta gain. Shit, fucking. Shit ton of weight. So South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is endorsing Trump at a rally in New Hampshire tonight. Huge blow to Nikki Haley, obviously moving forward. Especially lest we forget that it was Nikki Haley who, as governor back in 2013, appointed Tim Scott to serve in the U.S. Senate. Jonathan, what do you see as the significance of this? Well, it just means that Donald Trump is continuing his steamrolling towards the nomination. And also this fits a pattern that we knew was coming, which is everyone is going to get on board the Trump train as quickly as they can. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Governor DeSantis drops out of the race either. I tried to read along, man. I think after this, I'm going to cook myself a pork chop. he would support Donald Trump if he were the Republican nominee, which is mystifying to me, given the things that he said after that answer. You think Donald Trump is going to surround himself with people who want to get
Maybe.
Has he not paid? Did he not pay attention?
Maybe I'll have
what he's been doing?
some donuts
He's surrounded himself
with some oat milk.
So if Tim Scott wants to, if Senator Scott wants to,
I gain a few more pounds before I go to bed.
wants to be vice president, maybe wants to be a cabinet official, good for him. But history will deal with him. And David, I'm told my sources familiar that Donald Trump actually pursued Tim Scott's endorsement, as did Nikki Haley, not directly but through mutual friends. If she performs well in New Hampshire, she then moves to South Carolina, where Donald Trump is already up 20 plus points. What does it mean that Tim Scott is throwing his support behind Trump and not her?
Well, first, there was a moment in 2016 when Tim Scott and Nikki Haley did a rally with Marco Rubio to endorse him. And so you had a black guy, an Indian American woman, the son of Cuban immigrants. That was one direction for the Republican Party. The Republican Party obviously went in a very different direction. And now Tim Scott is adjusting to the winds. And so he's probably pro-Trump. He's probably a little anti-Nikki Haley. South Carolina politics is the roughest state politics in the country, in my opinion. And so betrayal is nothing new. And so Scott and Haley have had a
Hurricane.
relationship even though she was
Yeah.
betrayal is the art form. And
Hey.
plays out to a pretty good. He's a good senator. He's a good human being. Someday there'll be a future President Tim Scott, which would be a lot better than
I just don't care anymore. Cause everyone's a bitch all the time.
Gaza, the risk for a regional escalation, and also what the plan is for Gaza after the war. And Jonathan, really the divisions between issues, you could argue, has never been as pronounced. Help us understand the dynamics at play here. Well, when I look at these dynamics, one, you have a president of the United States who is desperately trying to keep a lid on the Middle East as much as he can. And then you have an Israeli prime minister who
News blackout on the war.
because he's got a far-right coalition government that he's trying to
Something's going on.
problem. And a lot of people say that he is
A lot of people.
waging this war in part because he doesn't want to go to jail. And so when you put this mix together, of course it's oil and water. I praise the president, I praise the Secretary of State for trying as hard as they can to be the adults in this situation, looking at this from the diplomatic perspective. But they're dealing with a prime minister who has very parochial considerations in a war that is significant. David, I think you can that he can U.S. officials and American president.
The only thing you need is malt liquor.
Pushing for a Palestinian state after the war. Netanyahu gave that speech yesterday where he says,
You don't need love.
saying no to our friends, saying no when necessary, and saying yes when possible.
And you don't need scrubs.
It's about Bibi Netanyahu and staying in power and his strategy now apparently is I'm going to defend America. I'm going to defend Israel from America. And those Americans are trying to shove a two-state solution down this road. And I'm going to
Man,
very remote chances of being prime minister after the war ends.
if I make it till this summer, spring, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my motorcycle fixed up. I got some more work to do to it, and get it all fired up. Get some lights on it, some blinkers, some new tabs. Now I'm gonna go fucking find myself a misfit motorcycle gang and join it. If I can't find one, they'll let me join. I'll be solo. I'll go solo. And what I'll do is I'll ride around my motorcycle and go to these farms. do some day labor, get some cash, just enough for some gas and some malt liquor. Oh, a little bit of smokage. Couple black mouse cigars. Eat very little. I can eat off the farms. Just ride around and make malt liquor videos.
And I think this is something that also the president and the administration has been
That's all I got.
to warn Netanyahu about.
Probably rent this place out.
Because he has domestic considerations.
I'm just saying that strikes me as a long way off because the President Biden.
Rent this place out. That'll give me some cash. Low. Oh, I have to be a landlord again. Have to be a landlord again. It's no fun being a landlord, but I've had to do it a couple times. And gotta make sure everything's on the up and up, so to speak.
In the couple of minutes that remain, I want to talk about the big picture.
It's one of the easiest ways to make money is being a landlord. If you got a nice place, rent it out. You got some nice tenants you can pay. Regular basis.
I guess we could answer that question. Is it, as I asked Anne-Marie Lipinski, is it, super wealthy, in almost all cases,
They're not assholes.
and buying a paper?
That's the way we've always done it. So, I do think there is a model. I work at two places that are doing it. I work at the New York Times, or we're owned by the Social.
Maybe I'll start a newspaper. People know they're going under.
Both places are close to breaking even.
Look at this. This is what I got my intentions are. Next, eat all these with some oat milk. They were on sale. Watch again, that's like a pound.
The oncoming train is AI.
Probably just crap it right out.
Say AI, tell me what happened in the Middle East. Take all of our news organizations material, which we paid for to get, and then they synthesize it and they give it away for free. And so AI is, as bad as it is right now, AI is even a bigger threat.
AI, once it learns how to speak to fucking animals, is well fucked.
Between the Atlantic and the New York Times, and I'm at the Washington Post, which is owned personally by Jeff Bezos. What we have with what the Post and the Atlantic have
Holy shit,
they are mission driven, and it seems to me that the Baltimore Sun and the LA Times is that the owners are status driven. And when you have mission driven owners, they let the journalists do the journalism. And on that note, we will end it there. Jonathan Capehart and David Brooks, thanks so much. Thanks, Jeff. For more than 500 days, an American citizen has been wrongfully detained in Afghanistan. Ryan Corbett lived in Afghanistan for 12 years, where he worked with local NGOs and advised Afghan small businesses. His wife, Anna Corbett, was involved in meeting with lawmakers and senior administration officials to push for her husband's release. And she sat down with Amna Nawaz.
She seems like the world.
Corbett, welcome to the
My world.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. Your husband Ryan has now
falling
been
apart.
held by the Taliban.
Left and right, it seems.
17 months. To get news about
the
his
seams.
condition, about how he's doing, and what can you tell us about how he's doing? So I am in contact with State Department and have weekly calls and a lot of contact at State Department, and they give me updates when they can. I actually was able to speak with Ryan on Christmas Day. He called us. That was my third call.
Probably eat some Pop-Tarts
And we spoke
on
with
top of it.
him for 6 minutes.
I'll probably
didn't
kick
get
back
a lot
and-
of news. It was so short, and he expressed just how difficult it is to be held in a basement cell for so long. But
back and fall
at least
asleep.
it was good to hear just a little
And
bit
dream.
from him. On that call, he did mention that the Qataris had visited him, and
Excuse me.
picture. That's all that I've had so far. I'm hoping for more of a readout. So there's bits and pieces of news, but it's very sparse and so little for 17 months. It's really challenging.
They gave you a
Check this
recent
out.
picture of him.
Yes.
How did he seem to you?
It was awful seeing his picture, honestly. He had aged so much, and the last
fuck
Big
is
Friday
this?
was from January of 2023, and this was almost a year later. He's lost a lot of weight, and he looked aged, he looked really tired, and he looked frail. So that was so hard to see for the kids and I.
Well, to back it up a little bit, you and Ryan.
Your
you made your
headphones,
home
I guess.
in
I forgot I got these
From
for
2010 on, you moved there from Minnesota.
Earbuds.
Why that move
Wow.
in the first place?
Ryan and I were young, we were healthy, our kids were little, and we wanted to make a difference in the world in a place that had suffered a lot.
Well, this is what I want to show you.
Projects, and then he saw that he would have a bigger impact on Afghan families by helping them start their own businesses. So that was the purpose of his business.
Let's just mess around with
We
this.
wanted to make a difference, and we made a lot of friends. We loved Afghanistan, and our kids were little. My son was born there, and they adapted to a new place. It was an interesting life for sure, but we were
Wide angle was also
You lived there for 12 years. You did evacuate when the U.S. withdrew in August of 2021, but Ryan made the decision to
optical
go back
illusion.
the next year, even as U.S. officials were
the wide
telling
angle
him
with a
not to
telephoto.
go. Why did he go back?
His business was still running. His staff was counting on him, and his
like when you
visa
go to
was
NADAC.
running out. So he thought, well, let me go see if I can try to get back in and pay my staff, check on the work. So he reached out, and it was a very short trip. Everything went really smoothly. He was given a warm welcome. They said, we need your kind of business. So then in August of 2022, he wanted to return, pay his staff, do some training, and that's when he ended up being detained. So it was just really
That's kind of
shocking.
fun. That was only $1.
I mean, did you ever think that that would happen?
$2.
Living there as you had for years, knowing the relationships he had on the grounds, was this ever a concern?
No, and Ryan knew the language. We had lived there. We had friends. Just really didn't expect that would happen to him.
Anna, this is now your 8th trip to Washington, D.C. I know lawmakers have introduced a bipartisan resolution calling for Ryan's release, but you've met with the Secretary of State, you've met with the Deputy National Security Advisor. What are they telling you are Ryan's chances of release?
They're all telling me they're working really hard towards his release, and I appreciate State Department, congressmen, senators on the Hill, and at the White House. All of them are expressing how much they want Ryan home. But yet I'm 17 months in, 8 trips to Washington, D.C., with 3 children alone, and I'm really concerned that is this really being prioritized or not? I have a meeting with Jake Sullivan, and I'm really looking forward to talking with him. And
I hope that guy gets home. He's being illegally detained by Afghanistan for what?
Ryan, he's getting worse, and the winters are really difficult in Afghanistan, and the reports I've heard from other Western prisoners who were held with him are just really scary, with talking about fainting and discolored extremities. He's not doing well, and I'm really worried about the winter conditions. Last I heard, there was no heat. He's in a basement cell, and I really need the government to prioritize and see this as very urgent, that he needs to be brought home.
Go over there and fucking grab him, man, with the Secret Services.
It's really tough. I'm so proud of them, and Ryan would be so proud of them. They're amazing, but it's so hard for them to focus on their studies. My daughter's a senior in high school, and I'm trying to teach my daughter to drive. I mean, that's just really challenging, even when life is going well. And my son is in basketball. His dad has never watched him play. It's really tough.
If you could get a message to Ryan today, what would you want him to know?
I want him to know I'm going to fight for him to bring him back home. I'm going to do everything I can to bring him back home. And we love him. We miss him like crazy. And we're really worried about him.
Same.
Anna Corbett, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anyway, it's about the gist of it.
One of the year's most acclaimed acting performances, now receiving Oscar buzz, came from Annette Bening, a 4-time Academy Award nominee known for such films as The Grifters, American Beauty, and The Kids Are All Right.
He's
In her
really grown up
latest,
that
she
ad
takes on
man.
a formidable woman in her own right, the
Jeez.
famed long-distance swimmer Diana Nyad.
70.
Jeffrey Brown has our look for our arts and culture series, Canvas.
100 miles or 60 hours of constant swimming.
At age 60, Diana
60
Nyad,
hours
played
she
by
swam.
Annette Bening in the film Nyad, decided to attempt what she'd been unable to achieve in her 20s, swim from Cuba to Florida.
Imagine knowing in your bones that you could do something that only you could do, like fate.
Nyad herself navigated more than 100 miles through waters infested by sharks and venomous jellyfish, this time without a protective cage. She would fail and fail and fail again, before finally accomplishing her dream in 2013 at age 64, swimming for just under 53 hours.
Wow.
Bening accepting the role was irresistible. Only then did reality hit.
I didn't really think about it, but that is sort of a good thing, because that's how you end up plunging into things that are shocking and new and different, and you learn and you grow and you have a new challenge, and I don't regret it at all. It's the opposite. But I did, had then